everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Iconis Podcast. Wow, we're still going. I don't know how this happens, but we just love what we do. I'm Barry 3D. I'm one of your hosts. On my side, as always, the man, the myth, the legend who's got you dancing at the roller skate park. The one and only my cousin,
DJ Rod C. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. We have a lot for you tonight. Buckle in. Buckle in. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right. Buckle up, Buttercup, because once again, we are doing part 3 of the Hat Tie Brigade, and we can't do part 3 without the band we had with part 2, 1 and 2. Who do we have? The one and only Larry Reclusado. How you doing, Larry?
Great, guys. How you doing?
We're good. We're
Good.
good. So we're going to go down a quick round table so we can get to all the juicy bits. So bottom line, real quick, support the book. So check out Sex Wings right out here in Montreal. Check out A Hero's Tale out in Cambridge, or check out Wild Comics out in Kitchener. If you want to find me, you can go to my website at barry3d.com. And also, if you want to do a podcast, you can go to iconispodbean.com or go to podbean.com. That's where we do our hosting. You'll find all our podcast, past episodes, and all that wherever you get your podcast from. And remember, like, subscribe, and share. Awesome. And if you want to see what I'm doing comedy, also with a Touch of Gray Matter, that's myself, Dave Salskalowski, and Zolf Ali. There you go. We're still going. We're still plugging away. So that's what we're doing. What we got to do. And also, we're part of the Subculture Podcast Network. So check us out along with 5 other podcasts. Let them know. Check it out. You'll have some good listening from, Rebel Rock Radio to Trekkies and the whole 9 yards. We got you all covered. Trust me. Right. Where can we find you?
As I always say, you can find me on the World Wide Web. Just do it directly. Find me on Instagram. Everybody has Instagram. Find me on Instagram. Mr. Rod C. Enter. MRRODC. That's MRRODC. You can find me on the Instagram. Thank you. And we'll stop right there. Alrighty then.
That's perfect. Awesome. And like usual, we got our guest on here. So Larry, where can everyone find you and the things that you do and have going on?
You can always find me on Facebook at Forgotten, Obscure, and Underrated Comic Characters. And we also have our Comic Duels page, Comic Character Duels, and our Forgotten TV shows from our childhoods page there.
Every time I talk to Larry, there's more and more that I gotta. You live my childhood, Larry. I'm there with you, brother. I'm there with you. So, also, before we forget anything else, we got to put it on the other member. If you have a podcast, anything, and you need some graphic artists to get something designed, from logos to digital arts, whatever it is, there's only one man, and one man should reach out alone. And who's that man, Rod?
J Bird Digital Art.
Mr. Jason Reese, J Bird Digital Arts. If you tell him that you heard about him on the Iconis Podcast, he will give you a discount off the work. So tell him we said hi. Thank you, Jason.
Yep.
I know you're there with us all the time. Thank you very much. I think we pretty much got it covered. If we didn't compact it, it's all good. We all know who we support and who supports us. So let's get this show on the road. Part 3 of the Hat and Tie Brigade. Mr. Larry Reclusado, who do you have for us today?
All right, well, let's start out at DC Comics with 1938, Wesley Dodds, the original Sandman. Originally appearing in New York World's Fair Comics #1, created by Gardner Fox and Barry Christman. 1941, they changed him from his beloved hat and tie and gas mask into this purple and yellow leotard and made him the general superhero type guy with a sidekick. Not as good as stories as far as I was concerned. But in 1993, they brought him back to that wonderful look, got rid of his cape, put him in a trench coat, and we had Sandman Mystery Theater, and that came from 93 to 98 and on the Vertigo imprint.
Wow. Nice. And this character has gone through a lot of things. So, he started off, he went solo. He was part of the Justice Society at one point. That kind of puts him as an Earth 2 character. So what appeals to you? What storyline from the Sandman, the original one, Wesley Dodds, appealed to you the most? What do you think was a good storyline for him?
Oh, I have to say, there's 2 things I really liked about him. One, you really didn't get into until you got into the Neil Gaiman Sandman, and you started really getting into the dreams that he had.
Right. Okay.
and they made him basically having precognition, which really wasn't there in the 30s and 40s. Then the other is the very first storyline in Sandman Mystery Theater. Very noir, very detective. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, that is
Right.
where to go.
That is amazing.
Right.
Okay, so we've got once again, classic artists and classic writers have put together this character. The Sandman comes out, he's got his look about him, which makes him stand out. What is the brief overview of his origin? I know I'm putting it on you, Larry, but so what's the starting off point? What made him the Sandman?
Right.
Well, I mean, in the original one, he basically was just another rich guy. Some crimes were happening around the area. Actually, I believe his girlfriend, Diane Belmont, was kidnapped. And he was a chemist, by the way. Came up with a gas gun that would knock people out. Okay, so you got a little pistol stolen right out of Green Hornet, by the way. But yeah, shoot him in the face, knock him out, don't kill him. That was his big
All right,
thing.
then. Right. If they do any kind of, they bring this character to life or back to media one way or the other, they have to get the song and use it at some point. Mr. Sandman, sing me a dream. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah.
Come on. It's right there, Rod. Right there. The writing is right there.
As soon as you started, like, oh my gosh, that actually.
I don't know.
that could
You could start the beginning of the show, which I really would love this as a mini series on Prime.
Okay.
With Metallica.
And night. And yeah. Of course. Don't let the color skin let you fool you. I'm down with Metallica. Enter Sandman.
No, not that. But the song. As soon as you said a song, like, yeah, that'd be nice. Actually, you know what?
DJ,
keep that for an action. Keep that for an action sequence. That would be nice in an action sequence. Let him just, tearing into somebody. I'll sleep you. Throw a couple of elbows and then. Yeah.
All right.
That is amazing. So we got that. So he's based in New York. I said 1938. He's got the hat and tie. So he's got a green suit. He's got the gas mask. He's got he's got his fedora on. He's got a red cape. Out of all things, that's what makes him stand out. And he's another rich guy. So it seems that the rich guys were bored. And I was like, what are you doing? Oh, between tea time, I'm fighting crime.
Holy, that's hilarious.
Yep.
The working class is too tired to go and fight crime. It's like, what are you gonna do? Oh man, there's wrongs in the world, but I got a 9 to 5 shift. I'm too tired for this crap. Too tired for this crap.
You sound like Danny Glover. I'm getting too old for this. Nah, that's it.
That's my point. But what was interesting is, like I said, the writer, Gardner Fox, this gentleman has been around forever. I feel like he's touched on so many books over the years that are still around. I mean, for me, when he was doing, Flash. Okay. All right. I know my name's Barry. It doesn't end in Allen, but I got a friend named Allen. Okay. But Flash. But my thing when he was writing, right? Exactly. What he was writing was Hawkman. Hawkman is near and dear to my heart. So that name just jumps right at me when I think about Hawkman. And I'm not trying to get off subject, but it's just to let you know that, he's between Sandman, Flash, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Justice Society of America, Hawkgirl. And then that's the Golden Age. And we go to Silver Age, it's Justice League of America, the Atom, Hawkman, Hawkgirl again. But once again, now we got the Earth 1 that he's doing. So he started off with Earth 2, up to Earth 1 of these characters, along with Zatanna, Batgirl, and Red Tornado. And the list goes on. Listen, he's had his hand. He's like, I don't know if he gets enough love, Gardner Fox. He's like in there like Jack Kirby. He's Stan Lee. These people have had their hands in multiple characters.
Kirby, Simon. Those are your...
Yes. Absolutely. I think sometimes they get overlooked because we always hear about Stan Lee, and I'm not taking anything away. Jack Kirby, once again, not taking anything away, but those are the ones that
Right.
seem to come to the forefront from classic um, creators, writers, so forth.
Hmm.
Gardner Fox. I mean, come on. His last name was Fox. It was like, hey, Gardner, like, come on, okay. There's something
Yeah.
there. He could have his own action hero. But
Yeah.
I like come on, that's a cool name.
Yeah.
And that's what he went into. So good for him for creating this character, being the birth of the Justice Society, Justice League. You see where the roots are, and it started off with this whole thing. So here's my thing for you, Larry. You're saying would you want this as a noir? You said miniseries, Amazon Prime. So obviously you're going live action with this character.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay, okay. What would be, before we get into who you would pick, what would be, so you set it up, but what would be a storyline or a theme that you want to see go across in that?
Well, I got to get into the precognition.
Okay,
Majorly
Okay.
into the precognition. Got to get into Diane Belmont,
Mhm.
his girlfriend.
right?
I'd probably even get some other characters from DC to make appearances, like Jonathan Law, the
Yes,
Tarantula.
yes,
Okay.
Uh,
yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, the Crimson Avenger. I want to keep them based away from the superpowers, more into the detective
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
But and that's where, but and I would do the kidnapping and a couple other things in there. Don't really want to get too into it because I'm really thinking about writing a treatment on this one.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. So here's my last question: Are you keeping him time? You keep him in that same time period that when he was created?
1938.
All right, fair enough.
1938.
All right. So then let's get right down to it. Who would you see playing, this character?
Justin Hartley.
Good God Almighty! Didn't even hesitate. Justin Hartley. Wow, wow. Okay, all right. I'm with you. I'm with you on that because
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Touche, sir. Touche. See, I was stealing. And I'm losing his name. Is Michael Chad Murray, the one from One Tree Hill. He's right now doing another show with
Oh,
a friend of ours.
you can see that.
Sullivan's Crossing. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Michael Chad Murray. I think he's got that straw jawline that would, he looks like he's from the 30s. I don't mean that in a bad way. He's got that, when he shaved the beard and he's clean cut and he's got the hair
Yeah.
and you put him in the proper suit and attire, I think he just
Hmm.
blends right in. His mannerisms blend right into that time period. I
Yeah.
mean, he can blend in anything. He's an actor. That's what he does. So, okay,
Exactly.
that's
He's
who I'm
good.
going with. Okay. All
All right.
right. All right. All right.
All right. All right.
What do you
Now
got for us next? Yes.
we're gonna jump to a minor character. Well, minor because he only had 3 issues. From ACG Comics, created by Richard E. Hughes and Paul Reinman. This is a character called Magic Agent, John Force. First appeared in Magic Agent #1, only had 3 issues, as I said. Thing about him is it's a Cold War. He's a spy. Um, and he has a magic coin. Magic coin allows him to do a few things: telepathy, hypnotism, a couple other things. And that's pretty much it. Don't want to get too far into that. Uh, the the stories were about the regular, 8-page thing from the 60s. So, you know how it is. Quick in and
Absolutely.
out.
I'm looking at one of the covers right now and it's saying Calling John Force, Magic Agent. See the
Yeah.
supernatural powers of America's top secret operative in blazing action. So
Mhm.
here's how I see it. A little bit generic, but I feel there's wings on this. So one, he's got the trench coat. Of course, because he's secret agent, he's got to have the eye patch.
Yep.
Bum, bum, bum.
And he's a bit of a predecessor to Constantine.
That's what I was going to say. Constantine, but he seems like he's got Constantine, but he's also got a look of Nick Fury at one point.
Yeah.
And it's just because the eye patch, him being an agent.
Mhm.
This now, to me, has more legs than probably people think. Okay, this only ran for 3 issues. But then let's look at something like Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, he goes in there, and we know in that world that the government has got a lot of unexplained items. and they have him stored somewhere in a warehouse.
House
That's the
13.
storyline. Yep. That's the storyline. That's the storyline right there. And of course, more
Okay.
about the magic coin. What does it come from? Why? How did he come about it? There's got to be more to it than it just being a magic coin. A coin doesn't get magic unless someone embeds it with the magic. Good magic,
We
bad
know it
magic.
has some Greek pillars on the back of it, and if you
Mhm.
touch each pillar, you get a certain power.
Okay. Big,
Okay.
once again, simple. This could be a very easy, in my opinion, CW show.
I see
Yeah.
a 6 episode prime, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. If you want to go really, so I said CW, if you want to go multiple seasons, 6 episodes on Prime. If you want to go a little bit more gritty,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how. Okay, that's how I'm going with this one. So, did you cast someone for this one? Okay,
Cody Kearsley.
Cody Kersley. And where's Cody from?
Cody is from Riverdale. He played Moose Mason.
Good call. All right, good call. See, I was going to go for it, and I was going to go with Robbie Amell.
I think, okay, I could see it.
Right, right,
Probably,
right.
Yeah.
probably been
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. That's just and that's just a takeaway right there for something I think you can just dive into. So that's just my 2 cents off the cuff. All right, then, Rod, what do you got? You got any interest or not interest, but you have any insight? Sorry, insight
No, no worries,
on
no worries, no worries. No, you know what? I like it because again, you're now touching into a particular veil, like you said. Okay, so Constantine is more of the demon aspect of that world. Magic Agent will be like in between him and Zatanna type of scenario. You know what I mean? So I can see him being that type of person where there's some mystical issues that's going on or some mysteries that's going on that he's being the detective. He's being that type of individual who's going to be able to solve that particular crime. You know, the U.S. government not sure what's going on. Magic Agent, I need you to step in. All right, I'll be there and be able to solve whatever situation. Again, this is an old 1960 type of mindset. So you got to go with that sleuthing type of environment. Hey, there's a haunted house, there's a haunted
right,
building, whatever the case may be. A person is missing, whatever the case may be, by some type of ghostly manner. I swear she walked down the alley of the kitchen and all of a sudden this puff of smoke and then poof, she disappeared. Or someone got dragged. This guy got dragged by these two cloudy things, just took him away, floated him away.
I give it kind of a Steed and Peel feel.
Okay.
feeling kind of I like that a lot. I was gonna say kind of like X-Files, more mystical.
Yeah,
but then
my mind was thinking that when Larry was saying, I was thinking X-Files type of environment. So the X-Files is more questioning everything. He's just literally the answer.
A little bit
yes,
of humor, a lot of mysticism.
Right.
yep, yep. The only way I would go, I don't even go deeper than that. I mean, his name is John Force. Now think of it. Have you known anyone with the last name named Force? No. I know people are going to take it as literal, right? But if you're dealing with the supernatural, what's one of the rules they always tell you, generally speaking? Don't let people know your real name. You don't let a demon know your real name. So, what's your name? John. John what? John Force. If you're a time traveler, you don't give up your real name. If you're dealing
Right.
with the mystic arts, you're not going to give up your real name, so no one has power over you.
For you.
That's why John Force. There's so many layers. Even those 3 issues, I could see there's you can go deep on this one. I think you can really go deep on this one. You don't need to have 70 years of lore. You just
Right.
need a good concept. That all right.
And people like that. I mean, there are still some shows nowadays, definitely in the last 10 years, where they have a mystical type of, story base, and people watch
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
it could definitely work. I'm sure there is a clientele for it. There's a genre for it that people will be able to like
Absolutely.
say, okay, we're bringing this to life. This is what we're gonna do, and I'm sure people will definitely pick up on. That's a different lore that no one really touches.
Thank you.
Let's look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
So
real quick.
Uh,
Now, this I'm just going to quickly touch on. I'm not going to cast it because it's
Fair
just
enough.
something I
Okay.
wanted to refer to. But I'm sure we've all seen the original Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett,
yes.
with the Scarab. Okay. Prior to Ted Cord and prior to DC getting the rights to him. Well, Most people don't know. The original Blue Beetle started out as an archaeologist in Hat and Tie.
Man.
It was only like 2-3 issues before he found the Scarab. And that's when he got the suit.
Man.
Got it. Got it.
At least was it a blue suit? Was he wearing a blue suit at the time?
Usually.
Yeah. All right, then. All right. And I'm
All right.
looking forward to it because I just picked up my Blue Beetle superpowers. So I got the figure and I've got Beetle Bug, from Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane. I'm gonna do an unboxing on that soon enough. So there we go. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. All right. Next.
All right, we got 3 more. Let's start because I want to finish out with the big one.
Okay.
So let's talk about Rorschach.
Okay.
Now we all know Walter Kovacs from Watchmen.
Yes. Yes.
All right. I don't want to talk about Walter. Everybody's talked about Walter.
Okay.
I want to talk about Reggie Long.
Reggie Long. That name sounds like a black man right there.
It is.
Oh. I didn't even know. I was just guessing. Seriously.
All right.
Okay.
So, if you remember Watchmen, Kovacs had a psychiatrist appointed by the court.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, that psychiatrist had a son. You find this out in Doomsday Clock. Kid goes a little bit insane. He gets taught by the original dollar bill
Okay.
how to fight and so forth, and becomes the next Rorschach.
Wow.
Now, I'm not going to get into how he became even more of a hero than an outsider, as far as what I could do on TV. But let's just say Batman has a big interest in it.
Okay.
All right.
Jeez.
So there's going to be a continuation of Watchmen with Reggie taking over from Walter a few years down the road. All right. This I see again as a TV series. Want to start with a 6 episodes and hopefully go past. But definitely do a one story that wraps up in 6 issues. Or 6 episodes.
Okay.
All right. And as far as casting, there's a guy named Daniel Ezra,
Yes.
All-American.
Yes. 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 I know that show. Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he can play the part extremely well.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna counter that. Yeah. Enough said. Famous words. Yeah. And I did when you said the name Reggie Long, I was like, that sounds like a black name. And that was my first, I haven't even heard this character. So I'm just looking at my other screen here and I'm seeing him right now. And I'm like, okay. And I know the actor who plays an All-American, the one you're talking about. All right, then. So, but you're going live action with this, right?
Oh, yeah. Everything's live action today for me.
Okay. Okay. So let me be devil's advocate. And first, let me ask a question. So Reggie Long comes along. He takes on the new mantle of Rorschach. He continues that. And I don't know. So does he join team? Is he part of the Watchmen at one point? Yes or no? Or is
The
he more
Watchmen are completely gone at this point.
Okay.
There
So
are
does he start
no
a new
Watchmen.
team?
Well, it hasn't gotten there yet.
Okay. All right.
But
So here's my thing. So I know you're going live action. Would you be open to an adult cartoon of this character to dive more
Yeah.
into his history and still
Yeah.
have the same actor play his voice? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes, with animation done right.
You can get further.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can sometimes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, if you do it right, I mean, I'd even consider. I mean, okay, so he's like 12 years old when his dad dies in the Squids, as we call it.
Mhm.
Those are actually Bride Watchmen, as opposed to the movie. So, all right, and now he's growing up, and he's reading his dad's journals, and that's how he gets into this mindset of he thinks his dad made friends with Walter.
He
All
misunderstood
right.
the whole thing. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
part of it. Um, and I would kind of use that anime bit for flashbacks.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
combine the two. Yeah, no.
That's actually good.
That's really good. Because I've only seen a couple of shows or movies kind of do that at times. And then what stood out to me, there was a comedy show, Christopher Titus, stand-up comedian. So he had
Hmm.
his own show years ago
Yeah,
called Titus. And in there, what I used to like is it was a sitcom, but it was a dark
yeah,
humor sitcom. And
yeah.
at times it would pull away and it would put him in a white room with an oversized chair, and he would just talk. He would break the fourth wall, talk to the
Mhm.
audience, and then it would go back into the scene. So you see
Yeah.
his innermost thoughts for that episode, and it would. And I thought that was original, and they never kind of continue something like that again. Right? Okay. All right.
Well,
I'm
it's
all aboard.
because Reggie's slightly disturbed,
Mhm.
the anime could be part of his psychosis.
Yeah. And if you give it
Okay.
I know I'm going to screw up his name, but if you give it a Bill Schwenzwick,
Sienkiewicz.
uh, thank you.
Sienkiewicz.
Style, Sikevich, that's right. Style. I knew I was going to mess it up. Kind of style, depending
My
on what
favorite
his
artist.
mood is. Yeah, that's to the feeling of it, of what emotion he's going through at that time. It's just a little quick. Okay.
Okay.
We work well off each other.
Works. That works nice.
All
I'm
right.
loving this. Okay. All right. Who we got next there?
Ah, my favorite DC detective. The Question.
Mm, mm.
Here we go.
All right. Starting out in Carlton Comics in 1967, Blue Beetle #4, or Volume 4, #1, I'm sorry, created by Steve Ditko. Actually, a follow-up to another character he had called Mr. A. Both in-depth in-depth concepts of the philosophy of objectivism. If you ever read Ayn Rand, you would get that. Now, Ditko was very much an objectivist. Most people don't know that, but hey. Now, later on, Carlton gets eat up by DC. They make a few changes, and the character gets changed into this major student of philosophy. He's also a reporter. We get a lot of reporters for this stuff, don't we?
Absolutely. But that's the time and that makes sense
Mhm.
because at the time they're the ones who would get the information first.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. So this is why I really love Vic Sage. I mean, he's a martial artist, he's a detective, he's not Batman, but hey, he's got a great look because he's got this goo that he puts over his face and basically makes him look faceless. And a chemical that dissolves it. He can also manipulate it to make it kind of become a mask and do some disguises. So there's that. Um, and just the philosophy. I mean, okay, one of my majors in college was psychology. Okay, if you're going to study psychology, you're going to have to study philosophy. They're kind of hand in hand. All right. The other one was theology. Don't want to get in that. All right. So I would get things like, okay, this is Nietzsche. This is Jung. This is Kant in comic books.
Okay, I will pick your brain on a couple of these, right? Okay. So I know you're saying this is your favorite detective in comic books. So here's a couple of
Yes.
things. So we
And
started off.
watch the JLU episodes with
Yes.
him.
You've got okay. I was going to touch on that, so I'm going to come back. Put a pin in it. In the famous words of Rod, put a pin in it, and we'll come right back.
Mm.
So first of all, when it comes to how he was treated in Carlton Comics before DC acquired them, which version did you prefer? Did you prefer him in his earlier Carlton Comics, or did you prefer him in his earlier run in DC?
Okay, that's kind of a tooth form thing.
Right.
I loved him in the Carlton stuff. I really loved him when Denny O'Neil got a hold of him.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. He
Okay.
fleshed out that character really nicely, and I no
Yeah.
pun intended because he's got the faceless mask. The question now, I know now watching the Justice League cartoons, like the Justice League Unlimited, where they finally, they expanded the team, they brought in all the other heroes, which I had that on DVD. I love that whole series beginning to end. When they bring in the episodes with a question, did you like how he was portrayed? He seemed a little bit paranoid, but then again, he was able to connect the dots. There was like one board one time where he was connecting ice cream into a conspiracy theory, and but it all made sense.
He
And
was
everyone's
always a
like,
bit paranoid.
uh-huh.
I mean, the worst thing I think they did to him, although I did like a little bit of it, is when they did 52. And they killed
Right.
him off temporarily.
Mm.
And Renee Montoya took
Yes.
over. She was good, but you lost the philosophy.
You think they got lazy with the writing?
I just think I don't know if it was lazy with the writing. It's just they didn't want to get into those concepts.
Okay. And they just kind of avoid.
Existentialism, objectivism,
Yes.
so forth.
Yes. But that was a strong suit. That's what made the
Yeah,
character.
exactly.
And I mean, anyone who's not maybe might not recognize some of the ones we've talked about maybe in the past episodes. The question is, he's pretty much well known. The guy with no face in a blue suit. Sometimes he's in
Yeah.
a trench coat. Sometimes he's in a suit. Off he goes. Everyone has seen the question. He's the unsung hero, so to speak. That you know him, and he could be bigger if he had the right. And I don't mean this in comic books. I'm talking about crossing over me. Like in Justice League Unlimited, he was really starting to cross over. I mean, they put him in a relationship with Huntress and kind of had that working with them as outsiders. That whole double date when it was him, Huntress, along with Green Arrow and Black Canary. That episode was funny to me, but it shows you more of how he was, and it kept him true to who he was. They
Hmm.
didn't make him the punchline. They kind of made it kind of seem like, oh, well, you're a detective. Uh-huh. Well, you're just paranoid. But then you're getting nods from Batman going, makes sense. That's why he's on the team. Oh, okay. I think he could have done a jump into a live action somewhere
Yeah.
very easily.
So,
Okay.
all right. So, what I want for this,
Okay.
again, I want live action.
Right.
I want a feature film.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Now, the guy I want to play it is fairly popular on TV for a while, but I don't know if he can carry a movie on the big screen. Hopefully, the movie carries itself. Matthew Gary Gubler.
Name doesn't ring a bell.
You ever
right
see
now.
Criminal Minds?
Yes.
He was a professor.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. I believe he could carry the movie. If you write it his original concept and don't make it just a generic action movie with him playing it, yes. Yes. I don't think he needs the movie to carry him with the proper screen treatment. He can carry that movie. I'll say that. Yep. Yep. Oh man. Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. And so now when you're saying movie, do you think this would be like a one and done movie just to have the character put him out there? Or would you want to see this as a trilogy? Because a lot of times studios are always trying to get that trilogy money instead of a one and done project.
I'd love for a trilogy to happen, but I'd like them each self-contained.
Hmm.
You know what I
Self-contained
mean?
stories. Yes.
Yeah.
I still think the studio's going to go with it. I think they should do a whole Carlton universe and bring those characters back. I'm not saying right away, but it'd be nice to either he opens a newspaper and sees Blue Beetle's here, or Captain Atom in his original look, right? Not the all silver and red gloves that we see him now.
Nice
So,
shade.
yes, just could be there. Easter eggs. Easter eggs are a big thing in a movie and for fans. So, okay. And I'm taking it you're pretty much doing him present day. Or are you going to do him in the past?
No, I want him pretty much. If I was going to do him in the past, I would have said 80s, but our 80s to now, somewhere along that timeline. I'm not taking him all the way back to the 60s.
Okay. And you're still keeping him a reporter, or are you going to try to take that job and kind of put it into because reporters at the time in the 80s were still big. Like newspapers are still big in
Yeah.
the 80s. We haven't gone really to the electronic age as we are right now. So,
Right.
all right,
Right.
okay, hey, I'm with that. What do
I
you got?
I think I would actually
Oh,
I think I would actually
all right,
like
Rod.
I would like a live action too. I would say a live action, but I actually would like him now, like in today's time, because to me there's more than enough conspiracies. There's enough material that he can work off of, and it'll definitely because everybody has a conspiracy theory now more than ever.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel. So
Well,
giving him
all
the
conspiracy.
opportunity, huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No,
Finish.
I'm telling you, there's conspiracy all over the place. I mean, we
Well-
knew that we're talking from the 60s to 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s to now. But I
Well,
think
all conspiracy theories are the conspiracy to keep you from guessing what the real conspiracy is.
right. But I'm just saying there's so much right now that you're giving the character, giving the writers more than enough ample material to work off with and make people actually get more entwined because everybody hears a theory right now and people are halfway thinking about it. But if you actually have a show, a movie that actually is diving into it and you realize, well, someone really said that about a couple years ago. Holy snap. They're actually pulling from live,
Yes.
articles.
That's what I was
Very,
say.
very much like
and-
Millennium.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Wow.
I would think that would work. Yeah, I'm with you in the sense like not a one and done. Maybe two. I don't know if we could pull a third one. If you're pulling a third one, this is where at least you're bringing in the lore, like you're saying, Barry. Now you're introducing other character that people know because it's a DC. So now you're gonna say maybe the first two is with him, and then the third one. Now you have Batman coming in and realizing your conspiracies are starting to like affect me in Gotham. Let's squash this out. Let me help you answer this so you can get out of my town type of scenario. Because Batman was saying he'll agree with him because like you said, I was gonna jump in and interact and saying if Batman is vouching for you, you're widely looked at. People are like, oh, okay. Even one of the top three is saying, yeah, he might have a point. Okay, we got to keep him here kind of scenario. So I would say maybe the first two stories would be about him if they are able to. Again, there's enough material, but if they can keep at least the crowd into it, that's when you have like maybe the first act is about him, and then the last two acts, Batman comes in, and then together they solve the mystery on the third act. Done.
Yeah, you see, and I don't want to go with the low, make it too easy, right? Because having Batman in there, I get what you're saying. So having Batman, because either one thing happens, either Batman gives you validation and everyone loves it, or Batman punches you in the face and you're the running joke as a Guy Gardner in the Green Lantern. So you're one of the two.
Right.
Okay, so it's either
But
one.
he's not going to punch him. No. I can't see Batman punching him. So that's why he knows he's going to get validation.
No. Right, but and I would keep that almost like a cut scene. Batman coming in as a cut scene. I would want to see more. Let's get more niche. The fans, I think sometimes the comic book companies, or sorry, the movie studios talk down to the fans. They don't know how well informed the fans are,
True.
how knowledgeable the fans are. This is why if you look at X-Men 97 and they drop all those little Easter eggs, fans were losing it. The average person watching is like, oh, this is great. Fans were like, my gosh, I can't believe they just called out that line. They did this. They did a reference to the black and leather suits from the first X-Men movie and was tape. Come on now. So let's get niche. Let's make it really worthwhile. If you want it to work, I still feel like you're saying, both you were saying, take him, bring him across. What? Instead of it having Batman should be a cut scene, after credit scene for me. You got to bring in the Carlton comics. As soon as you start bringing in those characters, fans know these characters were around before they were bought by DC. And trust me, that will open up a different world. That would be like DC and Vertigo or Marvel and Epic.
See, I just thought about it. If we're going to do a trilogy, I want to do the first one with just him.
Of course.
I want to do the second one. I want Nightshade and Blue Beetle to show up.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay. Don't really have powers.
No.
Right? Okay.
Oh, I see.
Nobody with powers yet. Okay. Here's my conspiracies building through the 3 movies. Final one. The conspiracy in Captain Atom.
I saw where you're going. Yes, but that would be so good though. It would be so good because Captain Atom is, military experiment gone wrong. Nuclear man, so to speak. A conspiracy theorist would hear about that and say, "Oh, there's a guy that has he survived the nuclear blast. Oh, that can't be right." Or Atom, whatever, that can't be right. And when people are gonna dismiss it, saying, "Oh, that makes no sense. It's just a rumor mill." He would actually go down the rabbit hole to find out it's true and actually undiscover it. And while the military is trying to keep that as hidden as possible because they don't want the rest of the world to know, so the other powers that be the superpowers in the world won't realize that on American soil there's this guy who has, the power of like Captain Atom. He's that guy. They're going to keep that undercover and put him on black op missions. And the question would be the one to find out who he is. Yeah. Oh, man. I love this.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
what do you?
We did the casting. Yep. On that. All right. So, shall we go ahead to my final one? And this is one of the biggest names in the Hat Tie Brigade. Created June 2nd, 1940.
Gemini.
For Register and Tribune Syndicate. The little inserts in the newspaper.
Yes.
Like Parade magazine here for us. By Will Eisner. The Spirit. All right. Ooh. So, this was a private investigator. Denny Colt or Danny Colt, I don't remember exactly the first name. Who accidentally, when he was investigating this one Dr. Cobra, during the experiment, got into a suspended animation situation. Everybody thought he was dead, so they buried him. Okay. So now he digs himself up and realizes, hey, I'm dead. I can use this. Puts on the domino mask, puts on the fedora, gloves. All right. Basically, just a detective, no superpowers, nothing like that. Only thing is, which they really screwed up in the big budget movie they did. I enjoyed the movie, but I thought they screwed up a lot.
Yeah, same here.
Now, I did like the television movie they did in '87 with Sam J. Jones, also known as Flash Gordon.
Yes.
All right. So there's that. Great character, great group of characters around him. Chief Dolan, San Sharif, Chief Dolan's daughter, and so forth. Now, Rod and I were talking before the show started about one character that is a little bit problematic. Now, I like part of what the character did because he always helped the Spirit out. But he was very racist. I'm going to be honest with you. Racist caricature, racist name, so forth. I think you could. I think you could do something with him, though. Okay? Don't make him the funny sidekick. Make him the tough help out guy. All right? So, he's a cabbie. So, a tough guy cabbie from New York or Center City. And bring in somebody like Ving Rhames.
Oh. Yep.
To play that character.
Cool factor. Yep.
Yeah.
Add that cool factor, that toughness to it. Yep, I can see that. Yeah. Absolutely. Because it's almost like that TV show, Spencer for Hire, and they brought in, Avery Brooks, a man called Hawk.
Yeah.
Yep. And every time Hawk showed up in the episode, he just showed up in his, in his BMW trench coat and the extra long gun. He's like, "What's up, Spencer?" And it was a good show. That was the episode.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they could do something with that. You drop the character completely like they did in both movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rod was saying he didn't think I could make it, but I could have this character. And we'll give him a different name. We'll keep
Yeah, yeah,
White.
yeah.
We'll keep White. We might even, have the nickname of Ebony there somewhere around there, but
Mhm.
give him a real first name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is something, Rod can attest to. I always kind of bust on our family for saying, hey, there's so many people with nicknames, you don't even know their real names. So, Ebony, that's fine. You know what? I'd be all about, because it's all about changing the narrative a little bit, right? So you can still keep the
Right.
name Ebony White, give him a real name, let that be his nickname, like Tiny,
Yeah.
from Robin Hood and what, let that be his nickname. He could go around and say, hey, look, man, there's Ebony. If you put that cool factor to it and take away and don't make him
Right.
slapstick and make him more of that kind of tough, cool character that's got some street savvy
It,
to him.
Yeah.
it gives some kind of contents to it. It might it'll make it better, acceptable in the sense of understanding, like, okay, I see where you guys are going. I can see how you guys are trying to separate yourself from the original way it was portrayed and how we're gonna modernize and update it and give it a different spin on it. So yeah.
Absolutely, and keeps it in a positive light. So that's for sure. I think that would definitely go 100% for that character. I'm not going to say not. It's just right now we know when the time is written. We know what was going on in the world. Times have changed. Wink, wink. And here we are now, and I think that we can make that character cool. And I don't think anyone would take offense to the character being changed for a more positive light. But let's not get away from the spirit. So
Right.
just like you,
Mm.
Larry, I watched the spirit. I went to the movie theater. I watched it. I watched Sin City. I was like, okay. And then I was like, Frank Miller's behind it. I'm like, well, he's friends with Will. Hopefully, he's gonna keep that spirit of Will Eisner, the spirit there. And I found it seemed like it's just a side story how they looked and
Hmm.
portrayed of Sin City. Like it was just another, you know, here's Sin City. It was a direct descendant of it. That's what
Hmm.
got me. I was hoping for a little bit more truer to the comic. They could have done that look. I think the studios got behind that whole look of how Sin City was done, which is awesome. It fit Sin City, but it didn't fit the spirit.
Right.
So that's where I was disappointed in that. And of course, they took away and they changed some aspects of the story. So now let's go back to the spirit, the character, reporter. Everyone thinks he's
Oh,
dead.
yeah.
Oh, PI. Sorry. PI. Thank you. So the PI. People think he's dead. This the comic strip in the newspaper ran for years.
Mm.
52.
Comic book. How much?
Until 1952, it was just a strip.
And then it went into its own book
Yep.
format.
Yep.
Okay. That
Oh, and
there
that's the
is
other thing. Remember, we
yes.
were talking about Midnight in the
Yes.
original thing.
Yes. Yes.
This is the character they were scared Will Eisner might die over in World War II.
That's okay. Yes. Right. Because he went to World War II and they said, well, we need some character to fill the void. And this is where we're talking. Okay. Yes. That's right. Right. So with the spirit coming around, with all the storylines that are out there and everything like that, this character should be an easy sell multiple ways. So I know you're going live action with this one, Larry.
With a
Rod.
caveat,
Oh, okay.
I want a live action. I want a live action television series leading into a Saturday morning cartoon.
Ah, see, and that's where I was gonna go. I just wanted a good cartoon. Now, when you say Saturday morning cartoon, you going traditional Saturday morning cartoon, or you going for one of like these streaming services like Netflix, Amazon?
Yeah, yeah. I want to get a little more adult,
Hmm.
not too adult with it, but a little more adult than you could on like CBS or ABC. And
Right. Okay.
Okay.
See, and I would go full out cartoon. I would do full out cartoon. Give me some of the feel of it. I would love to get the animation style. Is it Frank Frazetta?
Mhm.
That smooth. It almost looks real, but that smoothness. You know, I think the spirit in that sense, like drawing something like that with those backgrounds, a smooth thing, and make it like in the time he was created, like timepiece. I think that would work. It would have a different look to it, and then you add some jazz music, like if you like Cowboy Bebop, the animation, right? The anime.
Mhm.
I love Cowboy Bebop action, and they use jazz music to offset it instead of rock, instead of rap, and I think that too added to the mystique of it. So doing
Mm.
that with jazz would set the tone a little bit, and we don't have to worry about, sales of toy figures not making it. And this is why the series gets canceled. Looking at you guys, Masters Universe, He-Man, Studio. Yeah,
Mm.
cartoon was great. No, no toy sales got it canceled. No, don't want that risk.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I want to start with a TV series that leads into a cartoon later. Kind of like back in the old days when you had the Happy Days spin-off cartoon, Star
Yeah,
Trek spin-off, Planet of the Apes, so forth. And this is where you're gonna, I think, like my casting because you cast the same gentleman earlier today, Robbie Amell.
Ronnie? Okay.
touche, sir. Well done. And today's episode, no, that is amazing. That's yeah. See, because once again, Robbie Amell, I think, as an actor that they don't give him enough.
Hmm.
That's he can do it. I believe in him. Robbie, you watching this? We believe in you. Come on now, talk to your agent. So you're saying TV into a cartoon, Robbie Amell, and it'd be beautiful because if he does a live action, you get him to do the voice, just like they did with Constantine, the Constantine where they had Constantine TV series, not Keanu Reeves, and then they got
Right.
that same actor to always play Constantine
Yep.
in
Anywhere.
any animated from the shorts to the Justice League movies.
Mhm.
That was the best marketing at all, around. That's what they got to stick with. Okay, I'm all for it. So now here's what I don't know. Is there someone the spirit fights? I mean, sorry, you said it was Dr. Cobra?
Dr. Colt was the
Yeah.
original character that he fought. He's got a lot of different enemies, but the biggest one he has it never appears on screen. It never appears in the comic. He did in the movie, the octopus.
So he never appeared in the comic, but was he mentioned?
He's he's the guy who runs everything in the city. He's just never seen.
Okay.
See, they got to keep that
Okay.
same kind of concept,
Has
almost like
tentacles and everything.
right, right. Same thing. It's like next time, catch it. Dr. Claw. You hear him, you see the claw, you see the cat, you never see his face. Beautiful.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Rod, do you have any thoughts on the spirit here?
Well, the spirit, he's a nice character. Again, I know of him. I'm not so in depth in him, and I'm happy I'm hearing a lot of good stuff from Larry on it. So yeah, I mean, hearing that, at least a cartoon aspect of it in the sense of being a little lively, uh, you can, not get away, but seeing that he's, has ability to be like suspended animation, I guess like a ghostly form, if I'm understanding that also his power, or he has that ability or no?
No, he just basically anytime he seems to be dead every so often. Mainly just his first adventure. They've had a couple of times when it seems that way. But he gets better.
Okay.
He never fully dies.
Reanimation. Can't die, basically. Okay. Oh, okay.
Not sure. They never,
Seems like he just gets
We,
lucky. But the perception is everyone who thinks it was like, oh my God, I thought we killed you. It's like, nope, can't kill the spirit.
gotcha.
He might get out of something and he's like, man, I just made it out of there. And everyone's like, oh, the building blew up. Oh, I just made it out that vent. Okay, everyone's going to think I'm dead. I'll show back up in a couple of days. Let me just see what happens, and I'm going to tail them, gather my information. And when he shows back up, it's like, we thought you were dead. We saw the
Gotcha.
building fall on you. It's like, did you though? Did you?
Gotcha.
Nothing can stop
And
the spirit. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, and that's one of the great
Uh,
reasons to have Ebony around because as a cabbie,
he's taking him place to place. He's getting him out of those tough
exactly.
situations.
and you can get a lot of information as a cab driver.
Cab driver, bartender, these are the people, especially that time period, that you would talk to. You
Hmm.
go to the bar, everyone talks to the bartender. He was known as a psychiatrist, so to speak, right?
Yep.
And to everyone, newspaper, right? Anyone who was worked at a newspaper, you're gathering all the information. The masses are going about the work. There was no Google, there was no YouTube, there was no news programs. You had to go home and listen to your radio show, or if you had a TV, you'd watch it. But that was the end of the day. You're not in the middle of the day holding your phone going, breaking news, got it. No, that wasn't happening. So
Well,
anyone gathering that information had it first.
it's just like back in the ancient days. You didn't, when you wanted to know what was going on in the castle, who'd you talk to? The servants.
Yep. Or the
People
court
don't-
jester.
The people that aren't seen.
Right.
Exactly. The
Fair
servant,
enough.
the jester, because the jester would go from kingdom to kingdom. And because he's going from kingdom to kingdom, he's bringing the news of what happened in the other town,
Right.
and shows up. Oh, what happened? Oh, those people over there in their kingdom. That's how they are, because he knows how they. And if you listen to what he's saying, it's like, oh, the jokes. He jokes about them, but he's dropping. He's dropping. Oh, wait a minute, they're over there starving because their crops all fell apart. We're invading.
Got it. 100%. Okay.
Wow, this is awesome. I love this, Larry. We'll
All right.
wrap this up, man. But this is awesome. Do you have any more? Are we good for tonight?
That's it. I think we're good for a while now, and we'll revisit in a future day sometime. But I think 3 parts is enough.
Okay, then. That's right. So this is awesome. Rod, any last words on the Hat and Tie Brigade Part 3 here while we wrap
The
it up?
Hat and Tie Brigade, ladies and gentlemen, you've been entertained, you've been educated, you've heard some good stories, and I hope you've taken away some good information and realizing the genre at that time, what was the in thing, what was keeping people, running to their local corner store, getting the comics, going to the newspaper to get the latest strip every day. So I know I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did as well.
Awesome. Larry, thank you once again for coming on board and joining us with this madness. We always appreciate having you on board. Remember, everyone, if you join this page, respect the rules. Everyone has fun. Rod, we know where to find you. Keep him out, keep an eye out. He's on Twitch too, so he's on there every Wednesday. So put him on in the background while you're doing the dishes, doing some housework. He'll have you dancing. For myself, there you go. For myself and the Hot Tie Brigade, this has been awesome. Now, we've covered different characters. We've covered a character that could even go for Juneteenth, so to speak. The new Rorschach, that's amazing. I got to look him up because I didn't even know. If you all wanted some kind of surprise your friends, the next Halloween party, because everyone's dressing as superheroes and you want to be someone different, you don't need to go and put on spandex. You get yourself a little girdle, take it all in, because sometimes we eat a little too well, and we include it, and put on a nice suit, a fedora, and then go as one of the characters we talked about in the Hat Tie Brigade and amaze your friends with the knowledge you've learned today. Thank you very much, Larry. This
Remember
is
your
the
mask.
Iconis Podcast. Remember your mask. Safety first. This is the Iconis Podcast. Remember, this whole world was created by a pencil, a piece of paper, and lots of imagination. Keep on dreaming. Route.
Awesome.
Forget your mask. Don't forget your mask. Loving it. Loving it.